Welcome back to class, everybody. I am Ethan from the Weebology podcast.
And I am your overworked, underappreciated, but lucky Professor Ricky.
And today we are back here on the Weebology podcast, the only podcast quantifiably guaranteed by researchers to make you smarter.
An average of 3.5 wrinkles per listen.
Or IQ points, whichever you prefer.
Whatever you prefer. But I mean, we only measured in wrinkles. We don't have an IQ detector in the lab, but we do have a wrinkle detector in here. Yeah. And it broke after it measured our vast number of wrinkles, man. But I'm lucky. And so are you, because I have a treat for you. My wonderful girlfriend, after our 100th episode, decided to get us a kind of goodie bag.
That's too nice.
Japanese treats, baby. Yeah.
Did she go to like an Asian market? Or
yeah, I think she went to like an Asian market and got a bunch of like dope ass candies and stuff.
Oh my god.
How dope is that?
Super cola.
I think I've actually had those. The star of this show definitely is the matcha flavored Kit Kats. These things are rad as hell. So yeah, we got snacks in this bitch,
hell
dude.
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
That's what you get when you hit 100. You just get things. You get shit. Yeah. So we had a very fun time today at the movie theater. First time in a year for me, actually.
Yeah, I went. It briefly opened. I want to say last June or something.
Sure, yeah. And
something like that. And I went to like 2 movies and then they shut back down.
That's the last movie I saw in theaters, Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
Yeah, I saw that one for sure, but I don't know which one the other one I saw was.
way to go out with a bang, I guess. But we also noticed that like I think they forgot to staff people there.
It was the weirdest experience of my life, I think.
I bought the Fandango ticket like before I went. And we show up, and Ethan is the same way with him, that like we walk in and there's no one checking tickets. There's no one making sure that we are allowed to be in that movie. We could have probably just walked in and saw a movie.
Right, 100% we could have. Not even probably. We 1,000,000% could have walked through the front door, walked to whatever theater we wanted, and watched whatever movie we wanted.
We could have stayed there all day and just watched movies. We could have saw the dub version too. Shit, why not? No one's checking.
Right.
No one cares. But what we did see, though, is now the highest-grossing anime film in, I think, Japan overall. We watched Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Mugen Train.
Infinite Train.
Yes, actually usurping Spirited Away, the long-time buy-and-away contender for, like, the first best highest-grossing movie. But, like, this eclipsed that.
Right.
Do you... Again, let's just get into it. Initial thoughts of this movie.
Yeah, so we need to say this is going to be spoilers town, obviously.
This spoiler town USA.
From beginning to end.
Yes, and probably spoilers, obviously, off the rip for Season 1 of Demon Slayer, because you got to kind of have the context, you know?
Right, of course.
So
yeah, overall, like, solid, very solid.
I consider it solid. I don't know if I'd consider it eclipsing Spirited Away solid. That was the stat that really threw me.
I think...
Why do you think that was? Like, why do you think this was so unbelievably like...
Well, I think now anime is more ubiquitous.
Of course.
So that would obviously entail bringing more people to theaters to watch it.
That is true. Though, I would have imagined probably Dragon Ball Broly would have done better than this movie. And yet it did not. So...
Maybe like globally.
Yeah. We'll have to check the figures and the facts for you.
Silent Voice or whatever.
Yeah, a Silent Voice. Yeah. Your Name up there.
Yeah, Promare.
So I think... I was telling Ethan the second we got out of it that, like, I think they did a brilliant timing play here. You know, it was just at the finishing up riding the coattails of the hype of Season 1. Everyone was frothing at the mouth for more. Like, they wanted more Demon Slayer. Winning best anime overall of 2019 by Crunchyroll standards. That's for better or worse. I don't know. What's surprising to me is that they managed to keep it right at the end of that hype. Are you getting a little ASMR?
Sorry.
No, you're good. Well, what did you pick up? What was that? Which one?
It's
the hard
called
candies?
Hokkaido Matcha Milk Candy.
Oh, damn. And we got some Pocky in there, too. Oh, we're going to be snacking, baby. Snacking, baby. But yeah, they couldn't have timed this movie better, I think. Because if they released it any later internationally, I feel like it would have just kind of not been in the mind's eye of everybody. But if they released it like right after season 1, I don't know. I think just people were at the perfect stage of craving more Demon Slayer for this to slap as hard as it did in the theaters in terms of box office numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look into it. It might have. I mean, it was released literally last year in Japan, right?
Right. Yeah.
I feel like if it was released last year here, it would have been the same kind of meteoric success as well.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think it's potentially a little past due, right?
Yeah, right. But there's also another trend I think this movie opens the discussion for. We saw it with My Hero. We saw it with maybe a couple other anime where the movie seems to be the focus of the studio with their IP instead of a season 2. If this movie had never been released and season 2 would have come out instead, after watching the movie, I kind of would have wanted to see that instead. I don't know. It's just something of, and look, I'm a dissenting voice on this. It was a very solid movie. I just think I maybe overhyped it in my brain. That's definitely probably what happened.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt maybe I held it to a standard and it just barely didn't meet that for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I overhyped it.
I really didn't know what to expect going in, so that really helped.
Yeah, right.
Like pretty much no expectations.
Yeah, okay, that's probably helpful.
Was pretty helpful. I think they did a couple things like that I thought were like very well done. Like, I mean, there was CG throughout this, but it was like tasteful in some regards, but it almost felt like they went for an artsier version in a couple occasions.
Yeah.
Specifically the opening scene.
Beautiful.
With the master walking through the graves of all the
fallen folk.
Fallen demon slayers.
Yeah, right. And
but it was like this interesting, it's hard to explain. It's like, have you ever seen like a train model set?
Yes.
They like make the grass, they make all this stuff, and then it's just like a train going through, but it's obviously like small scale and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
that's
get
how
what
it
you're saying.
felt. It was like there was texture to the visuals,
right?
But they weren't like real in some regard. Like you could definitely tell it was like animation.
Yes.
Honestly, the very first scene I couldn't with the trees. I was like, is that fucking real?
I thought that was live action
I'm
almost.
like, why are they doing this? I was like, why?
We're about to get a Space Jam situation with animated and real life coming together. But no, that just speaks to Ufotable's UFO table, if you will.
Yeah.
their crispiness, their crispiness, wispiness, so good, so clean. But yeah, the visuals, high marks. And as a guy who is very CGI adverse, I almost think movies kind of get a pass a little bit because movies as a single work seem to have a budget where the CGI could pop off, right? That CGI in anime shows seem to cut corners 90% of the time, and it's done so to cut an animation corner. We kind of saw it with Attack on Titan most recent season. They went CGI instead of full animated Titans, and it shows, but when done right, it can be additive. Obviously here, I felt it was additive, even as someone who is a fucking curmudgeon about CGI and animation.
Yeah, I mean, the real key, right, is you use it for background, you use it for visuals, you use it for dynamic camera angles, and it'll be useful and look good.
Yeah. And SU Photable's bread and butter. They've been doing the CGI game so well for so long. I'm even remember Unlimited Blade Works, like the CGI backgrounds gave that like a perspective and a style all of its own, but it was done very right, and that's no different here. So visually, you're in for a treat for sure.
I mean, complete aside here, but am I the only one who doesn't remember which of the ones I've seen? Because there's 7,000 fucking
Fates?
Blade Works, Fate, State, Night.
Yeah,
all Unlimited Blade.
No, and you're not the only one. I know that. That lore and world is so fucking spiderweb and tangly that
I'm like trying to go through my mal and figure out which one I watched. I'm like, they all sound the exact same, and I swear I've seen them all, but there's no way.
No, there's so many. I think I've seen most of them, but the only one I care about is Unlimited Blade Works, the OG Fate Stay Order Zero.
Yeah,
Night.
Exactly. What?
And Apocrypha was that was fun to look at.
I liked Apocrypha.
Yeah, it was good to look at. So I mean, you're getting Ufotable at its best here for sure.
Yeah.
So context: Spoiler City, USA. Choo choo, here we come. Train's leaving the station, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job right after. So the very last episode of last season, first season or whatever, they show up at this train station to get on this train from Tokyo to Mugen.
Yes.
Called the Mugen Train.
Bum, bum, bum. And literally the reason they're going is they have to meet the Flame Hashira to go fight off a demon with him. Kind of like, I don't know if it's like a shadowing mission or anything like that, but that's the reason why they're there. They get on this train, which I almost thought they didn't have tickets because they're just like bum rush the caboose.
Yeah.
But they did.
Yeah, so the reason that they were like getting chased or whatever is because they had swords out, and there's a law post like 1940 or I think it was 1926.
Yeah,
in Japan.
This is like early 20th century Japan in Demon Slayer. Yeah.
So okay. Another aside, I'm listening to the History of Japan podcast recently.
Ooh, that's
so I'm
fun.
getting all the like sneaky behind the scenes like history,
juicy details
that could lead into a lot of these anime scenes.
Give me them sweet deets.
And I think this one is very important because it gives me the context of why they'd be worried about these guys with swords.
Yeah.
So after all the Sengoku era or whatever, where they were warring states, this one guy unifies the country and basically outlaws like people carrying weapons and stuff like that, so that nobody can take power back from them.
He literally give me all your swords.
Right.
Fuck you guys. You've been naughty. You're in timeout.
Exactly.
Give me your fucking swords.
And so that kind of tells you why it's weird that they're like, or it's not weird that they're asking for their swords. You know what I mean?
I even think, regardless if the law is in place or not,
think about
that is contextually
a land with fucking demon slayer and demons. You would think that they'd know about these people with swords.
Yeah, right. Because it wouldn't be a secret. People are getting attacked by demons. Of course, there are a core to help fight that.
Plus, I would say one massive issue I've got with Demon Slayer and always have is it's really hard to pinpoint when this whole thing is supposed to be happening.
Yeah, because you have like these really rural feudal Japan settings next to like the hustle and bustle of like,
Tokyo, like Edo is getting huge. It's like, what's going on here?
Right. Then you have these like a literal train and people that all are in like Western garb, like coat and tie. And then you have someone in a kimono over there. And you're like, where, when, and how is this happening?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like to play off the whole, Japan is both a very, traditional land and a very high tech, like forward thinking land
and modern, right?
But like it doesn't help the story much to not know when the fuck we are.
Right. So the story, this is kind of this movie is kind of a black box thing where they were on their way to go fight a demon, but it turns out that the site is the train itself.
Right.
And I don't know if they knew or did not know that going in, but then they meet the person that they're supposed to, which is kind of like the main focus of this whole movie, Rengoku. Kyojoshi,
Kyojiru or something.
Something like that.
His first name was terrible. His last name's great.
Rengoku.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And this guy, Ethan, you want to tell a little bit about this guy's, I don't know, vibe? The first thing we see of this guy, he's literally like
slamming food.
He's slamming bento boxes, and every bite,
Umoy, delicious.
And he's definitely got a weird vibe about him. Like
he like won't look them in the eyes. He's just like looking forward, talking to them. It's like the weirdest scenario.
Definitely no social cues to be found in this guy. No. And Tanjiro, like we just found out at the end of the last season that our boy's got a couple different breathing styles. He's actually, kind of a unique case, kind of a weird cat. And he asks, like, hey, you're kind of all about the fire. Like, what do you know? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'll tell you if I know anything. So do you know anything? Nope. Great. Thanks.
Appreciate that, asshole.
Yeah, right.
But it was pretty interesting. That conversation was pretty cool because he asks him a bunch of things, like Tanjiro. He's like, okay, be my apprentice,
yes,
do all this stuff. And he's like, what color is your sword? And he says black. And he goes, oh, that's unfortunate.
Why is that?
He's like, because black swords generally don't become Hashiras, and also they don't know which breathing style to actually study.
Yeah, there is a lot
which is interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things to that because our boy Tanjiro, Gazpacho, as Skid sometimes calls him, basically, he doesn't. It fits. It fits. He's a black swordsman. He doesn't really. He can kind of go multi-class, which is really cool. speaking of multi-class, we did learn a little bit more about the breathing system in this world, which is kind of pivotal. That they seem to all have elements. It isn't just like a Black Clover situation where it's like it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
There's a more rigid structure to it. Think of Naruto and chakras, like fire, water, stone, lightning, wind. And the offshoots of that is like the insect one or the sound one. Or
right.
Again, I still don't know where Inosuke fits in all that. I don't think he does.
Yeah, I'm starting to think he's just got his own style, like created from the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So,
but it is weird. He goes like, beast style form 1 breathing or whatever. It's like, so he like made this entire system by himself.
Yeah, right. Beast style 3rd fang, right? And then, but all of his attacks are like slice and dice, pierce, slash. Like,
kind of sick though.
Oh no, it's sick as hell.
The only reason you even watched the movie
is for, I walked in and said, I'm here for Inosuke. Best boy, best boy.
He also was like,
he was a riot in this
Someone
movie.
was trying to talk to him. He's like, don't talk to me if you're not an Inosuke.
Yeah, right. And he's like, he thinks everyone is his minion.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was from the first season. He's just suddenly like, I'm Lord. You bow to me. Worship me. As he's slashing everything. Glorify me even.
Yeah, I do feel like they lost the lead a little bit from the end of last season, at least personally.
Yeah.
Because they were all pretty dejected after like pre-training.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then even after that training, they were still pretty dejected, right? Like, like they had just gotten waxed.
Hard. Very hard.
And they also have to spend all this time training and then like couldn't figure it out for a long time and all this stuff. And I mean, that's my major gripe with this movie was the fact that I didn't get to see the progress as much as I would have liked to.
There it
like
is.
they each did really cool shit.
Right.
But it was like, it felt like, I feel like I kind of like lost where they were supposed to be at and where they are now, if that makes sense. Because of that 1.5 gap or 2 gap or whatever the fuck it was.
That's a good point because the only indication we saw that, he was Tanjiro was applying anything he learned about total breathing concentration constant was Rengoku saying it to him. Oh, you mastered that. That's cool. But like, that's a really good point, and maybe why it felt a bit diluted to me that you go into My Hero, Heroes Rising, and we got to see not just a little bit more of their ability, like how much Class 1A has grown, but the new combos with different students made it really feel fresh. And this movie didn't feel like a progression at all for any of these characters. Maybe a personal growth thing, maybe a character growth thing, but not in the way we just, like you said, we just saw them train their fucking ass off for so long. We didn't get any of that. It was everything we had seen from our 3 boys already been seen before. So maybe the sword throw move that Tanjiro did was a little whack. Like that was new.
I mean, the only real new thing I think was, first of all, I don't remember Inosuke having so many forms and shit like that. I feel like that was out of nowhere.
He did, because he only showed 3. The one cool one, his sensing ability was really dope. We saw him in the woods, in the spider woods from last season.
Yeah.
Sense where things were, and he did apply that, but they didn't even show it visually. So I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was part of it. Like, I wanted to see more of the guys actually pull off some sweet shit.
But Zenitsu did absolutely nothing.
He did dick all. He had
complete dog water.
He had one thunderclap, that booty clap, first form, 6-fold once.
Yeah,
and that's cool. And he almost got Notice Me Senpai by Nezuko for a second.
I mean, you saw that when they were like knocked out or whatever. She was like hugging him or whatever.
Yeah, so we could talk about the villain in this.
So I don't know why they're shipping them. Honestly, fuck that dude.
It's a dream ship.
Yeah,
literally dream ship. But no, fuck that guy.
Well, Tanjiro did like stop his bleeding using total breathing constant. So that is the only thing that we saw.
Yeah, we saw the healing capabilities. He could basically pinpoint and suture his own blood vessel, which cool, really cool. But yeah, you're not going to go in like, and that's maybe what this thing is. This isn't really a movie about them. This is a movie about Rengoku.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a character piece on Rengoku and kind of his way of being a Hashira and just how he operates. But the villain in this one, I actually really enjoyed him. a lot. I don't even know if he got a name, but he was the top dog of the lower 6 of the demons, of the 12 demons, or what are they called? The 12 moons of Mugen or whatever. I don't know, but he had a sick power.
Close enough.
Close enough, right? Well, the 12 moon boys. He was like the top of the low tier.
12 moon men.
12 moon men. Yeah, demons are moon men confirmed. But yeah, his power was he could put people to sleep so deep that they would just like stop breathing. He alluded to that at some point.
Yeah.
That was honestly a pretty sick power, I think.
Yeah, I think I mean it really is nothing new, right? I think it's been done a lot.
For sure.
It's a pretty common freaking trope, to be honest, where you have to like go through your own like dreams and stuff like that, especially like think Infinite Tsukiyomi.
Yes, yeah.
Right? All these people are living this entire different world.
Yeah, it reminded me about that dog shit filler.
But what I actually thought was going to happen there was he was going to have to kill his entire family to like break it, because it was so like so idyllic, for instance.
Right. And that might be why I think this was done super well, because one, it's a really easy way to do kind of an exposition dump for someone who may have forgotten some of the stuff in the first season. It was a good way to do an exposition dump for Rengoku, this character we had never really dived into much. And then the way you had to escape it was really sick. You literally have to kill yourself in dream, realize it's a dream, and then kill yourself then.
What I thought was interesting about that is because there is that theory that you can't die in your dream, for instance.
Is that a theory?
Yeah, like you wake up every time.
Gotcha.
And
that's cool.
So, like some scientific theory, I guess.
we're scientists after all. It's our theory. Right? It's our theory.
And so I thought that was cool that they were taking that and using that in this, because I was thinking like there's really, if you know you're in a dream, like how do you really wake up? And
exactly.
Dying is one of the easiest ways, because you wake up every time.
Yeah. So I mean, and that was the thing too, is that in Tanjiro's fight against this demon, he kept. That realization was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, where like he was telling him to go to sleep. He would go to sleep, and he's like, "What? Why isn't it working?" Because he'd always like it seemed unaffected, but he's like, "No, it is working." But every single time, he just kept committing suicide. Now and he's like, you're insane. Like you're truly an insane person.
Yeah.
So that was really sick, and basically like you saw how that power commonly goes, where he stops showing him happy dreams and then start like sadistic as fuck dreams. That was a mental oof for Tanjiro.
Yeah, well, what I did think was going to happen, right, is he was going to realize, and this is what I think happens in a lot of these like dream sequences, is they realize these people are dead. Like, there's no way this could be happening, right? Like, like a clash with the reality of the situation. It's generally how characters like this break out of it.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of interesting that it like almost needed to be Nezuko externally doing something to him to make him like flash back into it. Like
that's a good point.
His subconscious was like trying its best.
Yeah, right.
Like, right, it would show like, I don't know, his sword or something on the ground, or it would show Nezuko's box, or it would show literally real, current Tanjiro in the water, or it would be like Nezuko's out on the mountain picking vegetables, and he's like, "What? In the sun?"
In the sun, right? So it basically there's this really subtle but apparent struggle going on,
right?
And it was cool that the one time he was like, he had like a bunch of logs in his back. He's like, "All right, let's go, Nezuko."
Right.
Wait, why did I just say that?
Yeah,
that was
that's
super weird. There's this constant struggle, so that was really sick. And the old switcheroo was pretty funny, where you and I both looked at each other at that scene where Rengoku saved them the first time on the train. And they all start floating around him like, yeah, big bro, yeah. And we're like, this is weird. And then they show that they've been sleeping the whole time. And you're like, okay, that tracks. But that was very weird and jarring to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cool though. Like,
it was sick, yeah.
But it almost like gets to an Inception situation where like that was a dream, and then also the thing after was a dream. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Right. I think they did that well too, because later in that fight, when Tanjiro was coming in and out of dreams the entire time, he kind of started to have that line blurred so much he almost killed himself in real life.
Right. Which I did think was a potential issue. Right.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a bug in the system for that. Yeah. So I think that might be part of the power implicitly, that if you kind of just get in enough, your sense of reality is completely broken. You don't know which is which.
Right.
So, That would be sick. Where like,
which is a cool power.
Yeah, like if the demon were to have given him a dream that was the exact moment right then, and you really like, maybe that was a misuse of his power. He really didn't know how to use it right, because that's how I'd do it, right?
Yeah.
Put you in a dream that literally doesn't even feel like you ever went to sleep.
Right, like that first battle with the demon on the train, right?
Yes,
you
right
think
there.
you're doing your thing.
Yeah, right. And that would be enough. And then like,
what I was wondering is, was that a shared like dream that they all 4 had, or was that Rengeku being like, yes, I'm so sick. You're right.
I think that was his dream, because like they're all doting on him, like, big bro,
Yeah.
and he's just like, yes, I am big bro. Fuck it. So I want to talk about him for a second, man. I guess, again, spoilers, guys. I mean, movie's great. Gotta go watch it, but we gotta do our due diligence. And there is a thing that happens to him later on that I feel like the movie wanted me to feel much more sad that it happened to him than I think that it landed, right? I don't know. And it's hard to do in a 2-hour movie with a brand new character that you're making the audience have to feel for. If they had made a character that we had seen a little bit in season 1, give it just a little bit more airtime.
Yeah. So, like, I agree. But I think with the amount of time allotted to them in this short movie,
they did
do a fair job of making me care about him.
Yes,
to the end. But I view him as sort of like a Fugulione character.
Yeah.
Where he's resolute, he's like noble in his, pursuit of justice, so to speak.
Right.
They're those types of characters, like almost Superman-esque, right? Where it's like they're the shining star. And when the shining star gets snuffed out, then the world feels it.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe they didn't do a good job of really endearing us to him, but it showed that the world was pretty endeared to him, right?
At least the world
it showed
of Demon Slayers.
right,
yes,
it showed
yes.
all the other Hashras be like, damn. Except
in
for
their own
a
way.
few of them that were like,
well, they all did their own way. Some got mad, some went different, some got very sad and prayed. But I mean, it was like, yeah, when that infallibility is snuffed out, you're gonna feel that as a core group of individuals in that space. So
it's just like that like, the Northern Star or whatever type character that I talk about that's always rushing toward the good,
yes,
right?
yes. That infallibility is important,
right? When that guy gets ripped out of the series or whatever, then you're like, shit.
That's some hopelessness right there.
Yeah,
that's why I think they did a good job showing Tanjiro's reaction, because I was like, he seems very endeared to this guy immediately.
Yeah,
which I can at least kind of understand if I were Tanjiro's shoes. Like, this is the guy, man. He's like supposed to be one of the strongest. He has the answers for me. He can be someone. He looked at him as a mentor. So whether that was ham-fisted and short, like too quickly kind of set up and scaffolded, it still landed, I think. I would have wished that maybe I got some more of him in season 1, because I think it would have landed so hard with maybe, I don't know, who's the other guy that's in the water Hashira?
You.
Yeah. If that happened maybe to him.
Oh,
there he is. Yeah. Then maybe that would have maybe hit harder for me, because we got some of him already.
But he's got to stay.
He's got to stay
toward the end.
He said 11th form. How many forms? He knows all the forms. We need him to teach him all the forms before he dies.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It brought up questions for me, like, what's stopping them all from just learning another form as well?
That was one of the first things I thought of, is that, like, you're indecisive.
They go to Rengeku's house and they say, hey, brother of Rengeku, show me Rengoku.
Yeah. Or dad, because wasn't his dad the preceding?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So, like,
but his dad's kind of a loser right now.
His dad's kind of a prick. Yeah. He used to be a good dude. And their family looks like clones of each other, by the way.
Honestly, I was getting a little bit pissed off about that.
Yeah.
It's like everyone in your entire family that's a male looks identical.
Literally the same person.
And then your mom also looks like the same chick you see throughout this series. Like, all the women look the exact same almost.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. Like, again, that is, I think, a time allotment thing. They only had this movie to set up.
All right, copy and paste face.
Yeah, right. They only had this whole thing to set up and then make me feel something for a character and then kill them off in 2 hours. Yeah. And for it was okay. But you can tell they're like, isn't he the shit? And I'm like, I see that, but come on. A little forceful there, movie. A little forceful. Speaking of forced, we got to talk about the final villain.
Right.
What the fuck?
Well, let's take out the first one first.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's do that.
So Dream Guy kind of gets them all fucked up, and Tanjiro breaks free first with help of Nezuko, and then he tasks Nezuko with basically waking the other guys up / keeping passengers safe. They end up battling. He chops off this dude's head, and then he's like, what's going on? I'm like, obviously it's not... Like, that was literally 30 minutes into the movie. I'm like, this is obviously not it.
Yeah, you look down at the runtime, like on a YouTube video, like, you still have 10 minutes left of your 20-minute video. You're like, sus.
I'm thinking X to doubt.
Yeah, X to doubt, please.
And so, like, obviously, this seemed like pretty simple. The train becomes the demon.
The demon becomes the train. It's all
his, like,
the Mugen Train.
Yeah.
And that was coolish. Coolish,
but then I was like, so how do you beat this thing? And then they came out and they're like, it still has a head. I'm like, all right, this is so fucking stupid.
That was pretty dumb, but I guess it all was made better by the reason I was at the movies, Inosuke.
Right.
And initially he thinks the train is a creature and alive. If you remember the last scene in the first season, he's like, the lord of this forest, I must catch and slay you. Yeah. And everyone's like, you fucking idiot. And then the train does become alive.
Right.
But the demon, and he's like, so I was fucking right.
Yeah.
I guess I am a god. I don't know.
I guess I called that one, huh?
Yeah, and everyone's like, damn it, he's right.
They're like, I mean, we have no way to rebuke you here, but we really want to.
You failed successfully. Congratulations. But yeah, that was a little weird. I felt like they could have done something better with that villain. I think what I'd like to see, like, is a Freddy Krueger style thing. He escapes into someone's dream. And because they already set up the mechanic of getting in by the ropes. They had people tied to the hands and wrists of the demon slayers so they can go in and kill what is called their spiritual core, which I'm curious of the lore implications of something like that. Because does everyone have a spiritual core, and is that a way to knock down a demon slayer in a few pegs? Interesting. I wonder
That's what they said.
Right, but is that their main form of combat against some of these people? Like, we have to get to their spiritual core. I'm curious in the future.
Unless you're like a dream hopping fucking Gengar, I'm not really sure how you're gonna do that.
Right. I seemed like that was like,
I felt like this guy should have been a lot more formidable than he ended up being.
Yes, he can get to the heart of what makes a demon slayer powerful. And
I will say, very cool that the first one that gets like close to being killed was Rangeku.
Yes.
Goku. And the girl's about to stab his spiritual core. And then in real life, he like gets up and like starts choking her out.
Yes.
Right? Like still asleep, but he just reacted.
And Dream her is like getting trounced on because she's getting like choked in real life. That was pretty cool. Like you said, the formidability of this enemy should have been higher. I think what he could have done is hop into someone's psyche, and then Tanjiro's like, oh wait, there's the ropes that will get us in. So if we tie ourselves to that person, they have this big ass dream battle, and he'd be without total breathing concentration as well. So that'd be an interesting play, showing Rengoku can somehow manage it in a more ethereal sense. There's a lot that could have been played on, but no, he becomes the train.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I am the Mugen Train.
I am now the Mugen Train.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of shit, to be honest, as far as like an enemy and an enemy's demise. It was cool, right? Like there were different methods of trying to hypnotize Tanjiro. First with sound, then with visually.
Yeah.
And then of course, like Inosuke is just completely.
He has a boar mask on. He can't even see.
You can't be hypnotized visually because it's just fucking shit is so jacked up.
Yeah, but I think the whole like goopy monster mess he became
pretty bad.
And I'll say why.
And
like,
ugly.
It obviously ugly, but any demon. I could have been any demon.
Right.
That didn't feel. And I have in the past celebrated Demon Slayer for their demon designs. Always super cool. Awesome powers like the drum playing one that could shift space. Awesome. Great design, great power set, great setup. This could have been any demon, could have been the goopy mess that took over the train. That didn't really speak creative power usage of this dream guy to me. So I didn't like the direction they took there. They had a really good game going with the dream stuff, and then they kind of like disregarded it very quickly. But yeah, so he gets like a 6 out of 10, 60 out of 100 for me. 60 out of 100 hypnotizing eyeballs. Just that first villain.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. We did then get out of fucking nowhere the second baddie.
Just really quick. When that guy died, the first villain.
Yes.
They like went through this weird monologue where they were trying to get us to care about the demons.
Yeah, I already forgot about that.
They had previously done it with the first season where you're like, you actually sort of cared about some of those demons that died.
Yeah, the drum guy, I'll bring him back. He's a great example.
Yeah.
Tanjiro said, I think your music sounds really good, even in the midst of taking him out. And he's like, that's all I ever wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And that made me care. Like, it's seeing like some sympathy for the villain. I love when that's in movies. They really did a bad job with that.
They tried so hard. I'm like, this is the least, like, I care like less than nothing for this guy.
Because what was his ambition, right? It was just to rise the ranks.
To eat everyone.
Like any other demon. Like any other demon on the planet, that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It felt generic. And it felt like
they literally used it for exposition to say, okay, the upper half or whatever are strong enough to kill Hashiras who have killed tens of thousands of demons.
Right.
They literally use it for power scaling.
Yes, and I think that's what my one major gripe with this movie was. It really just felt like a setup. I don't know if you could...
It's a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup. And it was just setting up everything. The power of a Hashira, the power of the upper league.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. And that might be why I was kind of disappointed, because I wanted it to stand on its own 2 feet. It, like the story and the visuals, it felt like it was heading to a destination that we have yet to see, which would be season 2. And it never could stop to appreciate the story it was trying to tell here. It was just dumping for the future. And that's evident in Rengoku's path. He's in, he's out.
Yeah.
Right? So is this movie. In, out. And it just like, okay, we're done here. Go to season 2. I don't know. It felt that was kind of sad, and it's all the more evident with the second villain was the epitome of this. Because first, why was he there?
Yeah, what the fuck?
His name was Azusa or something like that?
Akaza or something?
Akaza? Yeah. Azuzu. Mr. Azuzu,
Azuzu elf.
Yes. So, train, beaten, engine slash, derailed, literally train wreck.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then, out of fucking nowhere, he just drops in.
Yeah, he's just like, yo.
What's good? Don't ask why I'm here. We're going to fight now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because he was proposing to Rengoku to become a demon with him, because I guess he just likes fighting. And, well, whatever. But that wasn't his initial plan. He's like, I got a proposal for you. Now that you say that, now that I sized you up a little bit, now why don't you become a demon with me? That's not why he was there. That wasn't his initial reason for that. So why was he there?
He was there to kill Tanjiro. Remember, there was like a bounty on Tanjiro's head from Muzan from season 1.
You're right.
He told everyone
the dream
kill the guy with the Hanafuda
earrings.
Earrings.
Yeah, and I guess you're right, because the dream guy also said the same thing, and now I understand why he wanted me to kill you.
Yeah.
So, okay, that at least loosely set up why he would be there.
But, I mean, not really. Like, how would you know that Tanjiro was on the train with your other... Like, it made no sense.
Exactly. And if the bounty were to be somebody's, you would think there'd be a lot more infighting to get in the good graces. Maybe not necessarily the uppers. The uppers been there for centuries, as we know. The lowers, constant rolling and changing of people. So I can see why the lower set, well, all the lower sets are dead at the end of the first season. So, was he the guy who got he was the last one?
Exactly.
Okay, I remember him now. So he got all that blood, and he went to go test out all his shit, but got fucking rocked by Rengoku and Inosuke and
Well,
Tanjiro.
to be honest, that guy's plan was very smart.
Yeah, I actually think it was
turn
good.
into a train and just constantly start eating all these humans that are going between Mugen and Tokyo. That's
just keep
smart
getting power.
As shit.
That is smart, and the way he does it too is actually pretty nice. Like, he literally will just like put him all to sleep, go have a snack, rinse and repeat. It's like it's a buffet line, man. It's like the bullet train of sushi plates.
Yeah, Shinkansen of...
Yes. I like that. But that final fight was rad as fuck.
Oh, it
I
was
will
sick.
say.
Like,
That was
visually
rad.
sick, just cool in general. The problem that I'm having with demons is, like, it's, like, beyond unfair.
Right. The way they regen.
It's, like,
Are you
so
kidding?
stupid. Like, what's even the point?
It's like Piccolo times 100. He literally just like, boop. There's no strain either.
But they also don't tell you how many times he can regenerate. They don't give you, like, any indication whatsoever that this guy's weakening.
Yeah, right.
And so it feels so, like, it feels so impossible to beat these things that I almost, like, I almost, like, hate it. It's like, this is terrible.
Right. And I guess again, this was all just a showcase for what a Hashira can do. And Rengoku being one of the strongest ones and still being taken out by an upper class demon, that's pretty hopeless, right? And this show is pretty good about living on the back foot, right? Because Tanjiro's always kind of been on the back foot and has managed to pull ahead anyway. That's what makes him engaging. But this here,
I wouldn't say he's pulled ahead really at all. He's been, like, very lucky.
right? That's the thing. He's kind of maneuvering through a world he's hopelessly outclassed in.
He's just skating by, bro.
Just skating by, bro. And
I mean, like, I would like almost, in some regards, make that parallel back to Attack on Titan, right?
yeah,
That world feels so effing hopeless occasionally.
and
When, like, you'd see a scout force of 10,000 guys come out and then, like, literally 15 come back, and you're just like, what's the point?
what is even the point?
Right? And I think that fits better for an Attack on Titan than it does for this show, in my opinion.
No, I agree, because Attack on Titan is written so well that they revel in that hopelessness.
Yeah.
That the story is carried along major events. The moment you get hope, you're like, oh, I don't like where this is going. People are happy.
Yeah.
That's not cool. And Attack on Titan's like, gotcha,
Like,
bro.
all right, where's the traitor?
Yeah, where's the traitor?
We're gonna do it.
Where's the sudden Titan attack?
It's,
You're like,
it's free real estate.
it's free real estate. But this show, yeah, while there's still that same flavor of hopelessness from Tanjiro's perspective, they don't seem to revel in it in the same way. They don't use it to the advantage that Attack on Titan can. And I don't really know why.
I just think it seems like when you say you have, like, what is it, 9 Hashiras or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the top third or whatever guy is clearly, like, double as good as him.
Yes.
Like, what the hell's the point?
Yeah, how do you...
You can't beat them.
Yeah, right.
Like, no matter what you do.
So,
And then think about Muzan. He's, like, 10 billion times better than him. So, like, what's the point of this show?
yeah, and I think part of it, too, is if they really are that strong, why are they even going after these demon slayers? Like, they're killing their brethren, sure, but they can all, like, if those upper 3 demons, not even Muzan, just those 3, had a wild hair up their ass one day and decided, like, fuck those guys, they could probably go clap every single Hashira if they team up.
I think for sure they could.
Imagine and he was the upper third.
Yeah.
There's 2 more that are even more powerful than him. If he gets his other buddy, like number 2, you want to help me out, like casual afternoon, go crush a Hashira or 2. You know what? Let's crush all 9 just to be thorough. Demon Slayers are done. Like,
yeah, I think, and they did mention, like, this guy, Kaza, or whatever his name was, has killed a lot of Hashiras. He said he's just never killed a fire one.
yeah, right.
And then he basically says, I think it was the lower 1 guy had mentioned that those top 3 or top whatever had been just, like, content almost with their positions and, like, unchanged for all those centuries.
Yes.
So they just got, like, kind of bored of it, I guess.
And that's what I'm saying. These Demon Slayers, while this may or may not be people's pull to the show, are fighting what we have talked about, what's seemingly an unwinnable battle.
Yeah.
Forever and ever and ever, like, clearly. And these guys, like, are bored. That's the only reason you guys exist still, is because they're bored. They decide to up it one day and, like, nah, let's do it. Good night. Get clapped. That's what happens.
Yeah, and I think maybe it feels more of a chasm than, like, other shows would, because they don't have those, like, Zenkai boosts, so to speak, where they can just get, like, insanely strong, insanely fast.
Right, exactly.
At least it doesn't feel that way so far. Like, it feels like, not only is this hopeless, but the training methods take like so effing long to get anywhere.
And that was alluded to by that Azuzu dude. To Rengoku, like, you will fade, you will die. It is a crime that someone as talented as you doesn't have the time to polish to the nth degree. And that's kind of the theme you say, and really, really foreshadowing a little ham-fistedly, like, everything dies. Uh-oh, he dies. No, go figure, right? But yeah, it's what you're...
Well, I mean, he even says in 2 years you'll be at your peak. So, like, I don't want to kill you before you're at your peak, but
Yeah, too bad. Yeah. And again, he really did a good job showcasing what's to come, but that's all this movie felt like to me, was a showcase of, it showcased the level by which the Hashiras fight, because one of the strongest. It showcased what a demon closer to Mugen would be like. It showcased what the gap between Tanjiro and there, because he's got to get to Mugen somehow.
Well, he's got to get to Hashira first.
Exactly. So this movie just felt like it was setting up the parameters for the next season. And I guess it did make me want season 2 all that more, because I didn't get maybe what I was hoping for out of this movie. It was good, but it wasn't what I was going in on. And that might have been a me thing. I had a perspective.
Well, I just knew in 2 hours we weren't going to get anything like really that interesting or like lore defining or anything like that. I mean, I think they gave us in 2 hours.
Well, no, I mean, like,
it took a whole season to even figure out what was going on last time.
Fair. I was saying, because the setup was go talk to the Flame Hashira. He knows what to do. Like, he has the beat on this. He's got those sweet deets. I was hoping they would have dropped something more about those details. And again, they set up the place to do that. Go to my home. Go to the Rengoku residence. Talk to my father. Talk to my brother.
One thing that worried me about that scene, right? They say, like, he said, well, I've got all the previous Flame Hashira's, like, notes and shit like that in my manor. My dad used to read them a lot.
Yeah.
But I never looked at them.
Right.
It's like, damn, should he maybe have read some of those and gotten some, like, pointers to not die so freaking early? Or,
right.
And I feel like that's so, like, his story, basically his dad was really carrying like a great Flame Hashira and then just quits one day randomly, but also not only quits the Hashiras, quits like being a father or being like a present father. And so I'm thinking maybe the fact that he had to do this on his own has potentially stunted Rengoku in some regards.
Oh, that's a good point.
To where like that passing of knowledge never happened.
Right, and maybe...
And so I'm thinking when they go see him in season 2, and they're like, yo, he died, he was sick.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to like finally break out of his shell. His dad, I hope this is how it goes, because it'd be ridiculous if he goes, I don't give a shit.
I can totally see him say, I couldn't do it for him, but at least I can do it for you. Because
his other son,
right? Exactly. This could
I'm gonna make you the best gosh darn Flame Hashira this side of freaking Mississippi.
Fastest flames in the West. Yes. But yeah, so the common gripe, we've had this with anime movies in the past, right? Is that, they're meant to be black boxed isolated things, right? I remember your frustration specifically with Heroes Rising, that just like all's well that ends well. He just gave Bakugo the all for one or one for all, and it somehow magically cleaned itself up. Yeah. I was a little frustrated too, but that's how movies got to be. This, however, felt like it needed to take a step, right? It needed to take a step lore-wise, and something needed to happen here, but because it didn't feel like an isolated thing, just because I don't know, man. There's something about something didn't happen for me here, and I don't really know what it was. And I didn't get answers on Tanjiro. I didn't get answers about much more of Mugen at all. We didn't get answers about Nezuko. But are we giving it are we giving it too much of a critical eye, knowing that this is an anime movie? Nothing should have changed by the end of it, really.
Well, I think what's going to be interesting, right, is, and it's sort of like what you're talking about, is this going to be essential to watching season 2?
Yes.
Are you going to have to know what happened in this movie to know what's going on in the beginning of season 2? When we start season 2, are they going to be depressed?
Right.
Are they going to be going to this guy's house?
Are we going to get a new flame Hashira?
Is there going to be a gap for a Hashira?
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a couple questions that need to be answered. What's he going to do about a sword? Because he just chucked it into the lower
let's talk
third
about that real quick.
He
literally, last move, Tanjiro, the Azuzu dude, is like running away into the woods because the sun's coming up. He's like, fuck, I got to get to the darkness. And he's beat up hard from Rengoku absolutely slapping in a good way. And he just takes the sword and chucks it like 100 yards into the woods, and it's gone.
Yeah.
No sword. Tanjiro's out, baby. Like, so what's next? We discussed our theory on that. He's going to go to the Rengoku residence. His dad, or he could take Rengoku's sword. It's broken, but he can get his boy to fix it.
It's not broken.
I did definitely see it snap.
No.
Yes.
It was in his neck. He grabbed it out of his neck and threw it to the side.
I know, but I think it snapped off. He literally tore away so hard that he took both of his arms stayed with Rengoku and snapped the sword off. I think that's what happened. In any case, the sword is available. It's going to need a new owner, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
In any case. But that's probably what's going to happen. I don't know if they're trying to do this or not. It seems as though all the pieces are in place for Tanjiro to pick up being the Flame Hashira at some point. There's a gap. He has learned about flame. He has some kind of flame breathing like his dad. And
I think that'd be a huge waste of his.
You think so?
What I view, like this master guy's going to die, right?
Yeah.
Like he's very clearly saying, I'm going to die soon, essentially. We don't know really anything about that dude, which is pretty annoying so far.
True,
I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But if Tanjiro is able to get water breathing and some sort of fire breathing, like it would be kind of crazy to be like, okay, I'll be the flame Hashira. Like I feel like if to be a Hashira, you need to be like solely in there for that.
Well, and
since he's got his black sword and he can do whatever the fuck he wants, I'm thinking he should just be like, his own thing, like Void Hashira.
Yeah, and I think Void Hashira would be fucking sick. But I think that's, if you look at a character like Tanjiro, his power growth has always been reactionary. He's reacting and growing as response to a need, not a dream he already had. No Hokage, no Pirate King. His family got fucked, and his sister's a demon. I need to find a way back, and the only way to do that is to fall ass backwards into this demon-slaying world. He didn't choose water. Water chose him. But the flame stuff kind of is, familial. That's something that just happened. He kind of took his dad's identity and the flame breathing in for himself. So I think that there's kind of a lore setup that, he did water as a reactionary thing, but the fire feels him, right? I would like to see that. And the thing is,
this is going to be so dumb because somebody who's read the manga already knows what's going to happen.
Like,
so you can completely disregard this whole section if you've already read the manga.
Yeah, we're speculating wildly like we do.
But it's, fun for us who have no clue what's going to happen.
Right. So, I mean, and they definitely set up a grudge match between Mr. Upper Third and Tanjiro. He's coming in hot.
The problem is, and just back quickly to the
I know what you're saying.
Hopelessness. There's no fucking shot he gets anywhere near him.
I know.
In the next 100 years.
No, that's not unless something big happens, man. I don't know. What I envision is there is some stuff in those manuscripts from the other Flame Hashiras that were just lost to time and just never utilized. That chain was broken with his dad not, like you said, not disseminating that knowledge to Rengoku. So I would like to see some ancient fucking fire breathing.
Well, remember, he said esoteric art. Like, they had other stuff that only he presumably knew, and then he had his own style that he created.
Ninth form himself.
Rengoku.
Yeah. Rengoku. That was crazy.
He made himself into a big flame ball.
That was fucking. That was definitely a highlight.
Like Ryujin.
All things in this world burn to ash. But yeah, ratings time, baby. What you got?
This was a solid movie, guys.
It's a solid movie. And I think that's what you gotta go in expecting. Like most anime movies, it's a one and done. Not a lot of stuff is meant to change here unless that was what they were going for. Then I think that actually cheapened it a bit. But if you go in, just this isolated one-off adventure. It felt like a one long episode of Demon Slayer, which is already phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and give it a flat 80. Just flat. You know what? 78. I'm going to go 78. I don't think it's quite an 80 for me.
Wow.
Yeah, like it looked good. I had my gripes. Deus Ex Demon Machina was a little weird, and they didn't go the full distance with the Dream Guy when I think they really had a good game going. They kind of went back on some generic demon shit. But 78, super solid. That's a subjective thing with me. Objectively,
I'll still give it a B, I think.
Okay.
I'll give it a Weebology score of 82 poorly done dream demons out of 100.
That's a good ranking system.
For the haters out there, I'll give it a 1 out of 100. That's for the hater score.
Hater score?
If you hate this show or movie, then that's the score.
That's the score.
What else?
I think objectively it's probably higher than what I gave it.
I think it's like just a low B.
Yeah,
like generally
it's a fun time. It is worth your money if you're gonna go see it in theaters.
Yeah, for sure.
How often do you get to go watch anime on the big screen like that? That's always still super fun. And Ufotable is gonna give you something to look at.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So it's worth a look in the theaters if you have the availability and opportunity to go do that. But I don't know exactly. I don't think should be the best or highest selling or highest grossing anime film of all time.
Well, I think it's right. Like time will tell, right? Is this necessary for season 2 or not? Right? If this is setting the table essentially for season 2, then yeah, why not?
Okay.
Like if it's an essential piece of the story that everyone loves, like of course it's going to be.
I think they want that to be what they were so focused on that. I think because I think this is 100% setting up season 2. They're so focused on that they forgot, like to give some things a little bit more love or a little things more care from a narrative perspective. They're just too worried about getting all the pieces on screen.
Right.
So, overall, I still had a good time at dissecting.
Yeah, me too. It was good.
So I mean, thanks y'all for coming to class. Go do your homework. I mean. Go see it. It was worth my money. It was worth your Regal Unlimited card for it. But yeah, if you want to listen with your eyes and your ears, hello, YouTube. I didn't do it last week because I'm overworked as fuck. But we are filming on the phone today, so that will be coming this upcoming week when you get them both out. All links in the description. You want to listen with your ears and not your eyes. Apple, Spotify, and everything in between.
All links are in the description. You don't have to say that again.
Well, it's in the description. All the stuff's in the description now.
I'm trying to make this streamlined for you.
But the one thing I will say, monetary love, only if you can, come over to patreon.com/weebology. $1 and up gets you into our Discord with past guests and all of the lovely Patreon folk. And $3 and up gets you the syllabus sidebar, our lo-fi, high vibes, sometimes anime, sometimes not. Podcast we do over there is just about life and shit and stuff, and I'll never not say that part because
that's fair.
That's a good one to say. But yeah, I'm gonna go home and eat some of these fucking sweet snacks until I'm bloated to the gills with Japanese goodies. I'm Ricky,
and I'm Ethan,
and this has been Weebology.
Deuces.
I do want some of that podcast. Some of that stuff looks wild.
Honestly, all of it's good. I'm sure.